Hi everyone, I'm Emma, the founder of Mama Luna, and today I'm talking to you about my new product, Period Power. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? It's a Yoni steam blend that's created specifically to ease cramps, pains, any irregularity, because yes, it is true, you can have pain-free periods. I'm just gonna say it again, you can have pain-free periods. Painful periods are not normal, okay? They are not normal. But before we get into that, please subscribe to my videos. Please subscribe to Mama Luna. Like this video, and please feel free to hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload another video. So, right, what is Mama Luna? If you haven't seen any of my other videos before, if you haven't been to my website, first of all, why haven't you been? Links for everything that I mentioned will be below in the description. But no, Mama Luna is a platform I've been running for a few years, and it's for women, girls, all female presenting people to rediscover, reclaim, reconnect with their feminine energy, essence and power. And we mostly do this through just honest conversations, and that's mostly through like courses and workshops. And I just really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. But the biggest thing with the Mama Luna platform is Yoni steaming. Again, hence my Yoni steam blend. Just a bit of extra promo. Just there again. So, by the way, I'm going to be looking down because I've got notes. I've got notes. So, yeah, do you know what? Let's just talk about this. So I've already mentioned that periods are not meant to be painful at all in the slightest bit. It's not normal, and it's absolutely crazy that we're taught that it is. I'll go into that a little bit later, but if you're experiencing any pain, especially when it comes to your period, it's literally your nerve endings are sending a signal to your brain that something's not right and it needs to be addressed. It's pretty much that. Yet we ignore it. And it's just like, why? It's absolute bullshit. Pardon my language, but it is. It absolutely is. And we wouldn't ignore pain from any other part of our body. So why do we do it when it comes to our amazing, precious Yoni? It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But then when you think about it actually does. And it's conditioning for all female presenting people. We're conditioned to pain, and because we're conditioned to it from such a young age, and we're taught that our periods are meant to be painful when it's just normal, we then, and at such a young age as well, because most of us do start our periods like quite young. I know the ages vary, but we do start it quite young. So to have that messaging at such a young age, and it seeps into your being, especially because it's such a gendered thing as well. It's like, okay, well, my period is part of me, it's part of my existence, it's meant to be painful, and that's normal. So then we normalize pain in our lives. We normalize it because it's part and parcel of our gender. And again, it is bullshit. I'm gonna just go into a little bit of history. So unfortunately, we still, like in the West, if you're like, for me, like I live in the UK. I've always lived in the UK. I am very much part of the Western world, and a part of that is being subject to a Western patriarchal medical system. So up until the, let's say, 16th century, women were always part of the domain of medicine, of midwifery, and healing. Now also nurses, and that includes with the healers, that's also lay healers as well. But then when at the turn of the 17th century, that's when the patriarchy started becoming a lot more forceful, a lot more dominant, a lot more assertive, and women were pushed out of nursing, midwifery, medicine, and healing work as well. And before then, women had always been in charge of passing down that rites of passage from older women to younger women. I'm just going to get more comfortable because I have the same
bodies experience the same things that can actually tell you what is what as well. Like, even today, now, What can a man
tell me about being on my period or having one if you don't even have a yoni yourself, you don't have an endometrium that breaks, yeah. But yeah, basically women were pushed out of any medicine at all whatsoever.
lost access to herbs as well, so he couldn't treat pains, cramps, heavy bleeding, irregular periods, missing periods with herbs, which is what they would traditionally do. And when men started taking over medicine a lot more, the message then became, oh, well, you're just being hysterical. And we definitely have a conversation about hysteria at some point, but that was the thing. And even now today, when femme presenting people say that they have period pains or experiencing cramps, just dismissed it. You've just been dramatic, you've just been crazy, you just want attention. And it's only recently that doctors have started taking people who have endometriosis and PCOS a lot more seriously, and it's just like, wait.
Who are you to validate how I feel and what I'm experiencing in my body? Do you know what I mean? So, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. But then because women just weren't being listened to at all, it's just like, well, there's nowhere for me to go to get help, because by the if you fast forward to the 18th century, we're in the Victorian age, which is very sort of like stiff upper lip. There's been so much shame and stigmatization built up around the periods, around bleeding, and then the Catholic Church and just religion in general, thank you, definitely did not help with that at all in the slightest bit. But we also have more women from the 18th century, even until now. It's mostly women who will tell you your periods are meant to be painful and that's normal. It's just like, what the heck? It's so layered, feeding us this misinformation. But also, am I reaching to say it's in a form of internalized misogyny? Drop an emoji, a comment, let me know. And I hope this is making sense to you so far as well. But yeah, just fast forward, and it's this misinformation, and then also men taking over medicine just helped to really build up this sense of, again, stigmatization and shame. And then on the other side of it, another reason for us being conditioned to ignore any pain is to force us into being a lot more linear, aka masculine, very like productive, on the go. Like, if you think about it, there are very few workplaces that have a policy around menstruation, like, or even just the whole of your menstrual cycle. There are some that speak about menopause, but it's just like there's still a whole cycle every single month before even perimenopause starts occurring. But again, it's just like we don't live in a society that even allows femme presenting people or anyone who has a yoni and a period to decide for themselves how they want to experience their cycle, especially the menstruation, and then navigate that, or to be able to show up. But traditionally, it's just not a thing to work at all during your period. It's a time for meditation, it's a time for relaxation, it's a time to go within, because we're shedding so much, not only physically but energetically as well. We're getting rid of a lot, so it's a time to tune in, to go within, to connect to our intuition and just that deeper part of ourselves. And when we do that, we are in our feminine. So all of this is to distract us from our feminine, our intuition, our emotions, and just be productive, out there, showy, on the go. And it's just like you can't have one without the other. And so this is why we are so out of balance, out of tune with ourselves, because we have been totally, this is one of the reasons we've been separated from our feminine. Am I making sense? I really, really hope I'm making sense. But again, just drop an emoji of some sort or make a comment down below if I am or not. I don't know, it's down to you. But yeah, it's a massive thing, because say for example, if you're not grounded in who you are, if you are not able to connect to your intuition, to recognize it when it shows up and then actually be able to act on it, you're not going to be grounded and be able to really fully rise rooted as well. And this isn't to say we should always be in our feminine energy. It's a mixture of the both. So, you know, when it comes to PMT, which is commonly known as PMS, but I call it PMT, which occurs before menstruation, you know, that time is a great time to explore and start going into our feminine energy. Our menstruation is a great time for us to be like fully steeped in our feminine energy and really allow the divine feminine to flow through us. And then you have pre-ovulation, which is when you start to be in your masculine again, and then ovulation, which is again in your masculine. So can you see, like, it's literally a split of the two. It's a complete balance. Oh, what am I doing? Like I'm Spock. Call me home. I really hope that makes sense. But that again is a massive part of it on the flip side. And I'm just not down with it, at all. But I got good news. I run a course called Sacred Cycles, and it's a 4-week course. It's an online one, so you can join in from wherever you are. And yeah, we talk about our cycle. I talk about the hormones, what's actually going on in your body with each part of your cycle, diet, society, what society teaches you about these parts of your cycle, and what you can do to rediscover, reclaim and reconnect with it as well. So again, the link is below, and please do sign up. I'd love to have a conversation, to be able to hold space for you to be able to do all of this learning, but also for me to learn a lot as well, because there's always work to do. So just showing you again, period power. Let's talk about this. So I am an experienced and trained herbalist, and I love that herbs are accessible to people. You can grow them, you can go to an apothecary, those herbal scoop shops or whatever. I love that it's accessible, however it is still medicine. So please, as an experienced and trained herbalist, do not attempt to make your own herbal blends, and especially for a Yoni steam, without exactly knowing what a Yoni steam does within your body and knowing about each and every single part of your body system that is involved within a Yoni steam. I make personalized blends. I also do this one as well, so I'm taking all of the guesswork out of you having to do that research. Obviously, know thyself, it's great, but just get this in it. Like, just get this. just get this. It's only taking the guesswork out of you. You literally pour it into a bowl, pour some hot water over it, bidda bang, bidda boom. Yoni steaming itself will help to relax your yoni muscles. It will help to relax everything, and the way it works is that the steam permeates through your muscles. So it starts with on the outer part, which is your vulva. The heat permeates through your muscles, and then it will go to your endometrium, and your endometrium is what breaks down for you to actually have your period. The steam, also the heat, will help to soften and relax your endometrium, so that can be supported as it breaks down, thus resulting in less painful periods. The heat will allow fresh oxygen, fresh blood and fresh nutrients to circulate around your yoni, which again just goes to help you have an even better, much more relaxed period. I've been steaming for about 6 years now, and when I first started yoni steaming, my god, my periods were really painful. They were heavy, they seemed to last forever. They weren't regular at all either. I had no idea when they were coming on, but that's also because I was incredibly disconnected to myself and had been conditioned to not tune into my body or listen to what it's saying and you know, our body's always speaking to us. I can even tell just from looking at my skin, not even tuning into my body, but just from looking at my skin, that I'm about, I don't know, I want to say 5 days away from my period. It's, I've got a lot more spots. It's really, like, really greasy. Like, can you see my T-zone? Jeez Louise. But you know, I can tell, whereas before, just so disconnected. And isn't that mad that we can live in our own bodies but have no clue what is going on? What is that about? Patriarchy. So anyway, that's a very basic way of how Yoni steaming will work. But I do have a course that's called Introduction to Yoni Steaming, which starts in January. So if you want to find out more about that, and again how Yoni steaming works, where it comes from, all of that, sign up to the course. But until then, let's get into this herbal mix. I've been talking a lot about like energy, history and stuff, but let's talk about this actual mix. I'm not going to speak about all of the herbs that are in this. I just want to speak about the specific ones that help with pain, like easing and reducing pain and cramps, and then also helping with irregularity. So cramp bark pretty much does what it says on the tin. It looks like bark, so it actually looks like it could have been like peeled off like some sort of red tree. And it helps to release cramps by dissolving any acid that's actually sat on your muscles. It dissolves them, and it also neutralizes any acid that cannot be dispelled out of your yoni so easily by itself. But that's why you would do a yoni steam, because it helps with that. So cramp bark literally helps to get rid of cramps by getting rid of the acid that's sat on your yoni muscles specifically, or especially your endometrium. Then we have lavender. I never make any blend without lavender at all whatsoever. It's an amazing muscle relaxant. You might also have heard it as an antispasmodic. Literally, it stops your muscles from spasming. It's so strong that it relaxes your heart muscles. You've only got one heart. It relaxes that muscle and allows you to take in a lot more oxygen. Once you get more oxygen into your body, you're able to get more sent down into your yoni, and that strengthens your muscles because your muscles convert oxygen into energy. So it relaxes your muscles, but also allows in that your yoni muscles will be strengthened. Then we have shepherd's purse. So shepherd's purse is a herb that was traditionally used by midwives because it helps to stem or slow down or reduce the amount of actual bleeding that you are experiencing. And unfortunately, this is one of the herbs that was highly demonized by the Catholic Church, because any woman who used it was labeled as a witch. However, those days are sort of gone. There are still modern day witch hunts, but the herb is definitely making its way back and around a lot more herbalist circles. So shepherd's purse, if you have heavy bleeding, it's the one for you. And then we have valerian. So valerian is also an antispasmodic or muscle relaxant, and it's even more powerful than lavender. Oh my gosh, it is great. It reduces the rate at which your heart beats, which helps with relaxation, but it also helps to slow down the pulse of your brain as well, helping you to relax a lot more. It's great if you experience stress. It's also great if you don't have the time to be able to slow down during your period. So for example, if you're always on the go and you're always quite busy during your period, your levels of estrogen are a lot lower. What valerian will do will help to just boost your levels of estrogen ever so slightly, just so you've actually got the energy to be able to power yourself throughout the day. Not only that, but it gives you a really, really deep and restful sleep. And sleep within itself is a hormonal process. It's a time for your body to completely reset itself, and your pituitary gland, which is the center of your emotions, but also where your hormones are made and then released, that's working in overdrive as well. So if you're stressed, if you experience stress, valerian will definitely work for you. Then we have raspberry leaf. Raspberry leaf strengthens your uterine muscles specifically, and those are your muscles that need to move to actually physically allow the unfertilized egg and dead blood skin cells, your blood, dead tissue cells to actually come out of your body, and we experience quite a bit of pain during periods because of the lack of oxygen that's actually there within your uterine muscles. So raspberry leaf allows your oxygen to be more oxygen to be rerouted and to actually go towards your uterine muscles. So definitely get that in your mix. Then we have mugwort. So mugwort is an emmenagogue, and emmenagogue is something, basically it's a herb that brings on bleeding. So if you have if you just have irregular periods, it's great for you. It's absolutely amazing. It's great for just basically making them regular. Does what it says in the tin, but not quite also. Please bear with me. Then we have motherwort. Very similar to mugwort, not only in name, but also the fact that it's an emmenagogue. So it helps to bring on bleeding, but this is only if you have intermittent bleeding. And the way motherwort works is that it actually doesn't do anything specifically within your yoni. It's more so to do with your heart. So if you're stressed, if you are experiencing trauma, anxiety, panic attacks, that will definitely have an effect on the regularity of your hormones in terms of their production and release, and that will have a knock-on effect on your actual periods as well. So what motherwort does is it actually helps to expel or dilute or alkalize any acid that's sitting on your heart. Motherwort's like Latin name is Leonaris cardiaca, so lion heart. It strengthens your heart, and once the acid is released from your heart, that helps to reset your hormonal system. Your brain will be like, oh, okay, so we're not as stressed as we were before, which means we can have our period, which is within itself, it's not stressful, it's just an intense process. So we can then have our period, we can have that back again. Basically, I hope that made sense. And then the last one is lemon balm. So lemon balm is an adaptogen, and an adaptogen is a herb that helps your body to adapt to its most normal levels as possible, or adapting to stress rather than being ravaged by stress, and then also maintaining the most healthiest levels in your body as possible. And the way lemon balm does this is that any adaptogens, regardless of what they are, they focus specifically on your central nervous system. So lemon balm will activate your central nervous system in saying, okay, we need to bring down levels of, let's say, cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and then increase levels of dopamine, of oxytocin. It just basically helps to just really bring balance. But lemon balm specifically will help to reduce any anxiety, and it helps to promote really good sleep. Some people, especially if you do find that you don't actually get the chance to relax and you do still have to be very out there and productive during your period, might find that your mental health is maybe a bit more fragile. And like, I am completely open to talking about mental health. I love it. I love going to therapy. I love counselling. I love all of that. I also love the fact that I know that my mental health is very fragile coming up to and during my period. So I will 100% steam with this because it's got the lemon balm in it, and it's absolutely amazing. It really, really is. And also it just helps me to accept and go with my feminine flow or energy. I mean, hey, people, I'm a Capricorn. I am very, very, very goal orientated. I need to be on it all the time. So actually it's taken a very long time for me to be able to get into and accept being in my feminine energy, and from there receiving messages from the divine feminine. I'm not saying that you're gonna get that from this, like from the lemon balm, but it definitely does help. We cannot be on the go all the time. Like, our endometrium is breaking down. We have blood coming out of us. That's not something to be ignored. Even if you choose not to honor it or to have like a sacred, I don't know, ritual or ceremony around it, surely it's better that you at least are empowered and can make your own decision as to what you do, rather than just going to status quo, which is that periods are meant to be painful. You know, it's normal to experience cramps. You just have to just get on with it. That's not empowered. That's patriarchal bullshit. And with that, I'm done. So, if you want to experience a pain-free period, which actually does exist, like honestly, like the very first steam I did, I came on my period maybe like 2 weeks after, and it was great. Like, it was absolutely great, and I was just like, why wasn't I told this? The patriarchy, of course, and have never turned back from them. Never ever looked back from then at all. So yeah, definitely check this out. Check out my Sacred Cycles course, and also check out my Introduction to Yoni Steaming course as well. If you don't want this, have you seen it again? I also make personalized Yoni Steam herbs. You just need to book in a consultation after purchasing the herbs. But then also get yourself a Yoni Steam seat. It makes Yoni steaming so much more comfortable. It's easy. I make the seats myself. They come in a range of different African prints as well, ethically sourced, and I get as many of the other products from the UK as I can, just so it's sustainable and we are cutting down on air miles and not destroying the environment. We can look after ourselves and the planet, Mother Earth, at the same time. Anyway, that is me. I'm actually done. Thank you so much for watching. Again, subscribe, like, leave a comment below, share this with your friends, and please know painful periods are not normal at all. Go get yourself a blend, go get yourself a Yoni Steam seat, holler at me just for a consultation, just for a chat, or I'll see you in one of my courses.